Hi guys, so welcome back sa ating YouTube channel. So ito na yung ating lesson 31, yung karugtong ng ating indeterminate form and L'Hopital's rule. So in this lesson, pag-uusapan naman natin yung ating indeterminate form of type 0 times infinity and infinity minus infinity. So meaning magkasama sila sa isang type. Kumbaga iisa sila ng method kung paano ito solve. Then we have the indeterminate form of type 1 raised to infinity, 0 raised to 0, and infinity raised to 0. Okay, so wala nang question no. Sir, ba't 0 raised to 0 is 1? Ako rin, technically hindi ko alam guys ha. So, 0 raised to 0 is not equal to 1. Sir, ba't hindi ganun? Hindi ko rin talaga alam. Even yung infinity raised to 0, hindi ko rin alam bakit ganun. Although, kung titignan mo siya, consider mo siya sequence, para siyang 0, 1 raised to 0, 2 raised to 0, 3 raised to 0, infinite, 5,000 raised to 0, 1 million raised to 0, that is still 1. So, para siyang constant sequence. Pero, ayun nga guys, hindi natin alam kung ano yung ano ng math. So, hindi naman tayo dun sa form ng topology or something sa sequence. Hindi naman tayo ganun ka further sa analysis talaga nito. Dun sa, nakalimutan ko sa point. So, I guess mapag-aaralan to sa real analysis. Hindi ko na maalala kasi guys. Okay, so let's start. No, let's have letter B. So, sa ba't letter B? Letter A kasi yung unang indeterminate form. Indeterminate form of type 0 over 0 and infinity over infinity. So next, letter B, the indeterminate forms of type 0 times infinity and infinity minus infinity. Okay, so we have the definition. So teka lang, ayusin ko lang yung aking pa. So let's have a definition. So a definition, the limit of f of x times g of x. So again, f of x times g of x, hindi na to over. So the limit of f of x times g of x as x approaches a is an indeterminate form of type 0 times infinity if either the limit of f of x is equal to 0 or yung limit ng g of x is equal to positive infinity or negative infinity, or vice versa. Yung f of x yung positive infinity or negative infinity, and yung g of x natin yung ating 0. So, whether 0 times infinity or infinity times 0, pasok tayo sa form na yan. Pakitandaan yan. Huwag mong isipin na para siyang punda, kailangan mong i-com or what. Hindi ganun. Okay. So, next, the definition. So, the limit of f of x plus g of x, so as x approaches a, is equal to 0, is an indeterminate form. Oy. Sorry. Tatanggal to. Pag nagulat ako, may value. So, patanggal to guys. Baka pansinin natin. So, the limit of f of x plus g of x as x approaches a is an indeterminate form of type infinity minus infinity. So, ba't ganon? Positive dito. Kasi ganito guys, sa infinity minus infinity, if either limit of f of x is positive infinity, yung limit ng g of x is negative infinity. Yung limit daw ng isa is negative infinity, yung limit ng isa is positive infinity. So, ngayon, papasok siguro yung tanong mo na, Sir, ano po yung infinity plus infinity? Note that infinity plus infinity is infinity. Sir, ano po yung negative infinity minus infinity? That is negative infinity. So again, hindi pasok dito yon. So note na yung infinity plus infinity is infinity. Negative infinity minus negative infinity is negative infinity. So there are not indeterminate form. The only indeterminate form of type that is only infinity minus infinity. So, hindi kasi natin alam kung ano yung difference ng dalawang yan. Pero yung sum nila, o yung sum ng dalawang negative infinity, alam natin. So, di mo pala sagot, Sir, 2 infinity. So, soplaking talaga kita. Okay, so now, let's have this remark. No? So, may remark dito, no? Napakagandang remark, sabi niya. Kasi mapapaisip ka rin eh. Sir, si L'Hopital's rule by definition, 0 over 0, saka infinity over infinity lang siya. So, ito nga, no? So, remarks. So, L'Hopital's rule works only for indeterminate forms of type 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Which is true. By definition or by theorem, ayun lang naman talaga. Dun lang naman talaga siya gumagana. Ngayon, any other indeterminate form must be expressed equivalently in one of these forms if we wish to apply L'Hopital's rule. So, ang ibig sabihin lang niya, kung gusto mong gamitin yung L'Hopital's rule sa mga indeterminate form na ganito, anong dapat mong gawin? Ang dapat mong gawin mo silang 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Sir, bakit? Hindi ko rin alam. No, hindi ko naman sa ibig sabihin na hindi ko alam. Ang goal ko lang is something. Siyempre, ayun yung rule. Hindi natin magagamit si L'Hopital's rule nang hindi sila ganitong type. So ngayon, ibig sabihin kung meron kang 0 times infinity, gagawa tayo ng paraan para maging 0 over 0 siya, or infinity over infinity. Okay, or kung meron tayong infinity minus infinity, gagawa tayo ng paraan para maging ganyan siya. So hindi natin alam saan siya papunta. Okay, so next is if we wish to apply L'Hopital's rule, no? So for the new indeterminate forms described above, so meaning ito yung dalawang yan, yung infinity times 0 times infinity and infinity minus infinity. So we have these conversions can be performed as described below. So ito daw yung mga technique or mga dapat nating gawin. So number 1, if the limit of f of x is equal to 0, then yung limit ng g of x is equal to positive or infinity or negative infinity, regardless kung ano man yun, we write the limit of f of x as times g of x as ganito. So, ganyan napansin niyo guys. Kung siya daw ay 0, tapos infinity and negative infinity, ganito gagawin. Yung limit ng f of x, since alam natin na 0 siya, ang gagawin natin yung 1 over g of x. Yung g of x natin, gagawin natin 1 over g of x. Para lang maging 0 over 0 siya. So, ba't ganun nangyari? Kasi, imagine mo guys ha, pag ito ni-reciprocate ko, 1 over infinity is 0. 1 over negative infinity, excuse me, is 0. Nabayin nga ako sa alikabok. So, sorry guys, napaing-paing ako dun. So, ang gagawin natin, girl na, para maging 0 over 0 siya, gawin lang natin 1 over infinity. Ngayon, sir, what if naman po si f of x o si what if naman so dalawa kasi yung choice natin. It's either gawin natin silang possible na infinity over infinity or 0 over 0. Kasi ito nga yung binibigay, no? Kung yung f of x daw is 0, tapos yung g of x is positive infinity, ganito gawin natin. Yung f of x 0, yung g of x, gawin natin 1 over g of x para maging 0 siya. Ngayon, kung gusto mo naman itry infinity, so anong nangyari? Nireciprocate ko naman yung f of x. Kasi yung 0, kasi gawin mo siyang 1 over 0. So, saan 1 over 0? So, yung 1 over 0 yan, as x approaches something na yan, that is something papunta sa infinity. Hindi man natin sure. Okay, so hindi ko sure bakit ganyan ang was, pero which is indeterminate of the type infinity over infinity. Okay, so yun yung unang dalawang gagawin. Whenever multi-product tayo ng dalawang function. So next is, siyempre punta tayo dito. So again, bago din tayo mag-move, no, pasok din pa rin yung x a from the left, x a from the right, x approaches positive infinity, x approaches negative infinity. Okay, pasok pa rin dyan sa x over x approaches a na yan. Okay, so nabahin mo doon na ano sa ilong ko. Sorry. So, ayun. So, number 2, we have if limit of f of x plus g of x is indeterminate form of type infinity minus infinity, rewrite f of x plus g of x as a single expression to obtain an indeterminate form of type 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity and applies L'Hopital's rule. Hindi ko na-gets kung paano gagawin. Pero wala talaga siya nakalagay dito guys. Hindi ko sure. Pero siguro may technique. So as we go along naman siguro guys, may makikita or madidiscover tayo kung paano siya gawin. So check na lang natin. Malay nyo naman may makita kung dapat gawin dyan guys ha. Okay, so now let's have an example. Nabahinga ako, sorry. Sakit sa ilong nun. So dalawang klase ha, dalawa yung ano natin ha. Ang goal lang natin is maging 0 over 0 siya or infinity over infinity para lang ma-apply yung ating L'Hopital's rule. So, number 1. We have the limit of arc sine of 2x. So, note that is arc sine kasi sine inverse siya. So, arc sine of 2x then cosecant 2x as x approaches 0 from the right. Okay, so ano naman ibig sabihin ng 0 from the right? Yan naman yung mga 0.99, 0. something na ganito. Blah blah blah. Okay, so parang mali pa kang example kanina. Pero yun, okay. So, sir, paano yan? Ano ibig sabihin? Check natin, ano ba yung arc sine of 2x? So, paano po yung arc sine? Yun, arc sine of 2x. So, 2 from the right. So, meaning that is 0.9999 something. Ayun yung mga value na yun. 0.999. So, 2 times 0.9. 0.9. So, ito una ko. Arc sine. Okay, so error na agad. Ano ba yung error na yan? So, patasin nga natin sa 9. Error agad. Okay, naka-degree region. Check ko lang guys ha. So arc sine ng 0.99. Okay, so yun nga. So arc sine ng 0.99 habang tumataas, that is positive infinity or something na pataas siya. Sorry. Arc sine ng 2x is automatically papunta sa 0. Hindi ako ganun ka sure. Pero alam ko 0 din to. 0. 10 times dito cosecant x, this is positive infinity. So gusto ko lang din i-check paano ba siya naging 0. Okay, so teka lang ha. Tingnan ko lang yung aking identity ng sign. May identity kasi yung arc sine na pwedeng gamitin, pero discover ko na lang din. Wait lang guys ha. So hyperbolic arc sine. Ito. So what is arc sine? Hindi ko makita kung ano yung arc sine kanina ba. Hindi ko talaga siya makita guys. Pero ayun nga, again, arc sine of 2x is just 0. Then arc cosecant as approaches 0 from the right is positive infinity. Arc sine 2x. May formula kasi yan arc sine na yan, nakalimutan ko lang. Pero again, discover nyo na lang. Basta may formula yan eh, yung arc sine of x na yan. May formula, may something yan. Kaya siya nagpupunta sa 0. Tapos 0 from the right, ang gagamitin natin sa 0 from the right na yan is 0.9, 0.9999, 0.9999999 something, pataas ng ganun. Okay, so again, that is 0 daw to, then this is positive infinity. So sunod-sunod muna tayo. So now, ano dapat nating gawin? Since alam ko na 0 to sa arc sine, sa cosecant daw is gagawin natin dapat. So kung gusto kong gawin, sundin yung form na maging 0/0 siya, anong gagawin ko? Ang gagawin ko, itong cosecant x, gagawin kong 1/cosecant x siya. So in this part, ang gagawin natin guys, this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng, so sa taas ko lang lagay, sine inverse of 2x all over 1/cosecant x. Okay, so now we all know that cosecant x is 1/sine. So meaning automatically yung denominator natin magiging sine na lang. Again, yung 1/cosecant x na yan, that is simply sine x. So this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng sine inverse of 2x all over sine x. Okay, so next is, ayun, nakita ko na, meron na akong value ng ano. So, ayun nga, ang sine inverse of x daw is simply 1 square root ng 1 minus x squared. So, ayan yung identity niya, no, yung sine inverse. So, check ko na, hanapin ko na lang din yung ibang value ng arc sine. So, basically, ito ang gagawin natin dito, substitute natin yung value. So hindi pa natin alam literal kung ano ba siya, kung ito again indeterminate form na to na 0/0. So sa part na to pa lang 0/0 na siya. Sir, bakit? Kasi yung 1/cosecant x na yan is 1/infinity. 1/infinity, that is 0. So meaning that is 0/0. So meaning pwede na natin apply yung L'Hopital's rule. But before tayo nagpunta dun sa L'Hopital's rule, tinry na natin i-apply ito. No? So ay hindi pala, sorry guys. Ito pala yung derivative. Muntik ko nang mahalimutan. Muntik na ako magkagulo. Sorry. Ayun yung derivative niya. So, ang mangyayari guys, this is just, syempre, apply natin yung L'Hopital's. So, ito yung ating sin x. Ito yung ganyan. So, applying L'Hopital's rule. So, this is just equal sa, apply natin L'Hopital's rule, limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng derivative with respect sa x ng sine inverse of 2x all over derivative ng sin x. So kala ko identity na yun kanina, muntik na. So next is syempre apply natin derivative. So pag in-apply yung derivative, this is just equal sa 1 over square root ng 1 minus yung 2x, lagay natin sa x squared, that is 4x squared. This is minus 4x squared. Okay, all over cosine x. Tapos lagay natin dito yung limit as x approaches 0 from the right. Tapos equal natin. Okay, so next is syempre apply natin dyan yung value. So ano pa ba? Sorry, meron pa. Derivative ng 2x, this is just 2. Sa taas pa. This is dx. Okay, so that is simply parang du, parang ganun. So kumbaga, after ko kunin, so gawin ko, substitute ko lang doon, yung x gawin ko doon, so that's derivative ko pa siya. So tulad nito, 2x yun, so that is 1 over 1 minus 2x raised sa 2, that is 4x squared. Then derivative ng 2x, that is 2. Ganun yung nangyari. Okay, then next is syempre, apply natin yung from the right niya, no? So kung 0 from the right to, may epekto ba sa ilalim? So paano natin ginagamit yung idea ng from the right? Ang idea ng from the right guys is, kung 0 from the right naman to, tapos wala namang epekto, kunyari, rekta sa, kung wala namang epekto siya pag nirekta substitute mo siya, substitute mo na lang agad, tulad sa numerator. Pag sinubstitute ko yung 0, rekta 0 lang siya. So ang mangyari, this is just equal sa 2 over square root ng 1 minus 0, which is wala naman epekto talaga, all over, sa ilalim, pag sinubstitute ko yung 0, ano mangyari? 1. Kasi nga, wala naman siya epekto. Hindi naman siya mag-undefine or what. So, this is just 1. So, therefore, this is just equal sa 2. Okay, so again, wag mong kalimutan yung idea ng from the left and from the right. Gagamitin natin yung idea nila na nagsasubstitute tayo ng point something o ng mga something if ever, anong nangyari, pag nirekta substitute ko siya, nag-undefine. And usually dun sa denominator. Okay, then sa numerator may mga cases na ganon. So for example, tulad nga yan sa cases na yan, sa taas na yan. Okay, so if ever, kung ang numerator mo is a fraction, then magkakaroon din ng effect yung ating sinasubstitute. Therefore, gamitin mo pa rin yung ating yung idea ng from the left and from the right. Then saka mo i-determine or tansyahin kung saan siya approaching. Ganon siya. Okay, then again, let us proceed dito sa ating example number 2. So we have the limit of tangent theta, then ln of sine theta as theta approaches pi over 2 from the left. So merong from the left dun daw sa taas. So ayun, napasubo na naman ako. Hindi ko alam kung anong mga papunta na ito, no? So what is tangent theta pi from the left? So that is 90 degrees. Na pi over 2 from the left, that is 90. So, kung 90 degrees siya, ano ba yung mga nasa left ng 90 degrees? That is 89.999 something. Tama, 89.999. So, ang gagawin natin guys, set ko yung region ko. This is degree. So, para makuha natin yung una, yung tangent pi over 2 from the left, yun yung mga 89.999 something. So, kunin natin yung tangent ng 89.99. Yan yung una. Okay, next, dagdagan ko ng 9. Pansinin nyo. Dagdagan ko ng 9. Dagdagan ko ng 9. Tumataas. So, meaning, ito ay positive infinity. So, yung isa is positive infinity. Then, ln of sine theta. So, palit lang natin yung, anong gagawin natin? That is ln of sine, tapos 89.9. Siyempre, no? 89.99. So, yan yung una ko. 89.99. So, may negative. That is times raised to negative 8. So, ibig sabihin, naka-ano pa siya. Ngayon pa natin. So, pansinin nyo, no? So, habang tumatagal, lumalaki yung 10 raised to negative 12. So, kung nadagdagan ko pa ng 9, approaches 0 na siya almost. So, meaning, yung part na isa is approaches 0. Okay. So, in this case, sino yung 0? Yung ln of sine theta, yan yung 0. Tapos yung tangent theta, yung 0. So, meaning, kung gusto kong maging 0 over 0 siya, anong gagawin mo, guys? Ang gagawin mo, yung tangent is magiging 1 over tangent. Okay? Iilalim mo siya. Magiging denominator siya. So, ang mangyayari sa part na to, this is just equal sa, so, ang hirap isulat nito, no? Limit as theta approaches pi over 2 from the left ng ln of sine theta. all over 1 over tangent. Okay, so pag sinimplify, this is just limit theta approaches pi over 2 from the left. Tapos lagyan ko ng derivative kasi maglo-L'Hopital's na yata tayo dito. This is ln of sine theta all over derivative ng cotangent to. Okay, so check natin. This is 0 over 0. Lagyan mo to ng 0 over 0 para ma-determine ni sir. Okay, hindi ka malito. So now, applying L'Hopital's rule, pwede na siya. So this is just derivative ng ln, that is simply 1 over sine theta times derivative ng sine theta is cosine theta. Okay, so this is just equals sa limit as theta, theta pala to, derivative with respect sa theta guys, derivative with respect sa theta, derivative with respect sa theta as theta approaches pi over 2 from the left. So pangit ng ballpen na gamit ko na, no. Derivative ng ln sin theta is 1 over sin theta. Derivative ng ln of sin theta is 1 over sin theta times derivative ng sin theta is cosine theta. Okay, all over derivative ng cotangent theta is negative cosecant square theta. Okay, then ang obvious naman guys na sa taas is just, may simplify ba tayong pwede dyan? I guess meron naman tayo pwedeng i-simplify sa taas guys, kasi ito is 1 over sine. So 1 over sine, check ko lang pag sinimplify natin, this is cosine theta over sine theta. Tapos ito is 1 over cosine, 1 over negative 1 over sine squared theta. So pag sinimplify, this is cosine theta over sine theta times negative ng sine squared theta over 1. Okay, so meaning that is cancel isang sine, so cosine theta, sine theta lang yung matitira. So negative cosine theta. So this is just equal lang sa limit as 0 approaches pi over 2 from the left ng negative ng sine theta, cosine theta. Okay, so next is ano naman ang gagawin natin pagdating sa ganyang bagay. So since negative sine theta saka cosine theta siya, una check nyo muna ulit. Pag sinubstitute ko ba yung pi over 2, may epekto dyan, may mag-undefine? Technically wala. So, kasi walang denominator. So paano mo nalaman? Kasi walang denominator. So substitute correct yung pi over 2 dyan, saka pi over 2. Walang mga mangyayaring denominator dyan. Pagkus, ang magiging sagot lang, this is just negative sine ng pi over 2 tapos cosine ng pi over 2. So note that negative sine ng pi over 2 is 1. So this is negative 1 multiplied by cosine pi over 2, that is 0. So therefore, what is the answer? The answer is just 0. Okay, so yung limit daw niya ng tangent theta, ln of sine theta as theta approaches pi over 2 from the left is just 0. Ganun kasimple. Okay, so therefore, it exists. Okay, so next is, punta tayo dito sa part na to. Let's have number 3 bago tayo matapos sa type na to. Tapos punta tayo dun sa last type ng ating indeterminate form. So we have the limit of x over x minus 1 minus 1 over ln of x as x approaches 1 from the right. Okay, so observe natin. Ano ba yung 1 from the right na yan? Paano natin siya iti-take effect? So una natin is, parang obvious no, sir, infinity minus infinity yan dapat. Yes, ganun yata yan dapat. Pero syempre, ayokong i-assume na infinity minus infinity. Baka kasi ang mangyari, once nakita mo yung ganun, infinity minus infinity, L'Hopital's rule. Ganun lang gagawin mo. So, ang gagawin natin guys is just, syempre, i-check natin kung tama ba na. So, since 1 from the right, ano yung mga 1 from the right natin guys? Ang mga 1 from the right natin is 1.0001. So, magdadagdagan natin ng 0. So, yung x over x minus 1, gawin natin ganito, no? So parang ganyan, guys. So, parang ganyan, no? Something over something plus 1. So, kunyari, lalagay ako ng, yung 1 from the right ko is 1.0001. 1.0001. So, kung ilan yung nilalagay mo, ganun gamitin mo. So, ito yung para sa isa pa lang. Yan. So, 0. So, check pa natin. Damihan natin ng 0. So, hindi ko na alam kung ilang 0 yan guys, ha? Pero dapat parehas. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. So, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tapos 0.5. No? So, dagdagan pa natin. 0.5, approaching 0.5 siya. So, teka lang 1 from the right. Okay guys, sorry. 1 from the right is, dito tayo nalilito sa idea ng 1 from the right eh. Kaya lang guys so kung ito yung 1, ito yung mga values, so yung from the right niya ito. So, ano mga klaseng values yan? 1 from the right niya is syempre, yun nga, yung mga 1.01 something na yun. Tama lang ako, 1.01 something. Pero syempre, yung malapit na malapit. Okay, so, kumbaga, lapitan ko lang lapitan. Kumbaga, una muna natin dalawang 0, isang 0. Check ko lang guys check natin. Ayun, syntax error na. So, ayun na nga, no, syntax error na siya. Check natin sa 0. Kasi may 0 dito. Sorry. Check natin. So, 0.5 something. Okay, so, I guess this is something 0 from the right. Parang ganon. So, ang sinasabi niya is something na, ang sagot niya habang pinapataas ko yung value, that is 0 from the right. Ayun yung value niya. So, basically, ito sa taas na to, this is just 1 over okay, sorry. Nagkamali ako sa idea. Gato guys. Hindi ko literal na gagawing x over x minus 1 or something na ganon. Kaya ako nalilito. Ang gagawin ko, since yung 1, pwede ko substitute sa taas, hindi naman siya mag-undefine, 1 na lang ilalagay ko sa taas. Ngayon yung x minus 1 yung kinukonsider ko. Kasi yung ilalim lang yung nagkakaroon ng epekto. Kasi kung 1 minus 1 yan, that is 0. 1 over 0 is undefined. So dito lang tayo mag-1, 0 from the right. So yung x minus 1, yan lang i-consider. Kunyari, 1.0001 plus 1, minus 1, so check natin dyan yan, so this is 1 something, so check pa natin, damihan pa natin 0, habang tumatagal kung napapansin mo, negative 12, so pataas ng pataas, pero almost siya sa papunta sa 0, so meaning 0 from the right siya, so habang tumatagal yung x minus 1 na yan is 0 from the right, so this is 0 from the right. Okay, so next is yung minus. So sa taas is syempre 1 pa rin yan. What is ln of 0 from the right? So 1.01. And unahin natin. So that is something. So dagdagan ko na 0. Tingin ko napapansin mo yung exponent nagiging negative 5. So dagdagan ko pa negative. So obviously that is also 0 from the right din. Okay, so this is just, hindi siya negative infinity or positive infinity, pag go 0 from the right. Okay, so meaning that is 1 over 0 from the right minus 1 over 0 from the right. So what is 1 over 0 from the right? That is infinity. So obviously this is infinity, then infinity. So basically, siya yung indeterminate form of type infinity minus infinity. So basically, pupunta tayo dun sa ating way. Anong goal natin? Ang sabi nung number 2, gawa daw tayo ng paraan para maging 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Walang ibang sinabi, bagkus ayun lang. Okay, so again, ayun lang yung kanyang sinabi. So ano yung gagawin natin technique? So syempre, ang una natin gagawin technique is try to simplify the problem or try to simplify the expression inside the limit. So ano una natin gagawin? Pwede natin gawin guys is kunin natin limit. So cross multiply natin, this is just the limit as x approaches 1 from the right. So cross multiply, that is x times x ln of x minus x minus 1 all over x minus 1 ln of x. Okay, so now pag sinimplify natin yan, ano ba mangyayari? Ano ba yung 1 from the right? So dyan tayo ngayon mag-focus. Sir, pag may 1 from the right natin yan, kaya recta substitute tayo ng 1. 1, 1, 1. So this is 1 minus 1, 0. Tapos ito, ln of 1 is 0. So automatic sa taas is 0. So again, obviously sa taas, pag sinubstitute ko yung 1, automatic 0 na eh. Sa ilalim, substitute mo yung 1. Hindi pwede kasi mag-undefine. So technically, dito tayo maglalagay ng 1 from the right. So dito natin ipapasok yung 1.001 minus 1. Then ln of, kung ano man yung ginamit, 1.001. Okay, so again guys, pansinin nyo Ginawa ko 1.001 minus 1, tas ln of 1.001. labas is something na ganyan, negative 7. Nagdagdag ako ng 0. Dagdag ulit ako 0 dito. Negative 9. So meaning, habang tumatagal, lumalaki yung negative 9. So as lumalaki yan, negative kung tumataas yan, approaches pa rin yan sa ating 0. So meaning, this is just 0 over 0. So therefore, pwede na tayo mag-apply ng L'Hopital's rule. So anong gagawin natin sa L'Hopital's rule? I-differentiate natin yung numerator saka denominator. So check natin. So this is just the limit as x approaches 1 from the right, ang derivative with respect sa x ng x ln of x minus x plus 1. Lagay ko na yan, kung simplify ko na. All over derivative with respect sa x ng x minus 1 ln of x. So I think product rule sa ilalim. So ayun pa, babalik-balikan pa natin yung calculus. So ang derivative nito, product rule. So, derivative ng x ln of x, ano mangyari? This is just equals sa limit as x approaches 1 from the right. Nang sa numerator, syempre x times 1 over x kasi derivative ng ln of x is 1 over x times ln of x plus 1. So, plus ln of x times derivative ng x is 1. Tama naman sir. Then, derivative ng negative x is negative 1. So, this is minus 1. Derivative ng 1 is just 0. All over derivative ng x minus 1 times ln of x, so or something x minus 1 derivative ng ln of x, x minus 1 derivative ng ln of x is 1 over x. Then sunod is plus ln of x times derivative ng x minus 1, that is 1. Okay, so next is try natin mag-simplify further dito. So, I guess sa taas mga cancel to, no? Kasi x times 1 over x is 1. So, 1 minus 1 is 1. Then, simplify pa tayo further dito sa taas natin para makakita tayo ng pwedeng gawin. So, next is, this is just simply limit as x approaches 1 from the right ng this is 1 minus 1, that is ln of x. All over x times 1 over x, 1. No, simplify ko lang. 1 minus 1 times 1 over x is 1 over x plus ln of x. Okay, no? So, sinimplify ko siya sa ganyang part. So, next is, syempre, ilagay natin ulit, isubstitute ulit natin yung 1. So, check na natin, no? Since na-simplify, check mo na. So, pag sinubstitute ko yung 1 directly sa taas, 0 siya. Kasi ln of 1 is 0. Then, dito sa ilalim, pag sinubstitute ko right away yung 1, ano mangyari? 1 minus 1 over 1, that is 0. 0 plus 0, that is 0. So, meaning undefined. So, hindi tayo pwedeng rekta mag-substitute dito ng 1. So, anong gagawin natin? Ang gagawin natin is just, pag sinubstitute natin pala right away, 1 over 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1 over 1, that is 0. Plus ln of 0, or ln of 1, that is 0. So, basically, this is 0, 0, 0 over 0. Sorry. Gina-apply ko na yung 1 from the right. So, basically, kailangan pa natin siyang i-differentiate ulit sa part na yan. So, by applying L'Hopital's rule again, this is just limit as x approaches 1 from the right. Ln of x is just 1 over x. All over, this is just negative 1 over x squared. Kasi derivative ng negative 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. Actually, positive dapat kasi negative yung derivative ng 1 over x. Ang derivative ng 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. So, ang derivative ng negative 1 over x is positive 1 over x squared. Then, derivative ng ln of x is plus 1 over x. 1 over x. Okay, and ang obvious naman dito guys, ang pwede natin gawin is factor out lang natin yung 1 over x. So, this is just the limit as x approaches 1 from the right ng 1 over x. Then, sa taas is 1 over x times, meron pa ditong isang 1 over x plus 1. No? Then, cancel natin yung 1 over x na yan. So, basically, this is just limit as x approaches 1 from the right ng 1 over x plus 1. So, now, try mo ulit erecta substitute yung 1. So, ganito decision making mo. Pag may from the left and from the right. Pag sinubstitute mo yung value mo sa ilalim, tas mag-undefine siya, automatically gamitin mo yung idea ng from the left and from the right. Okay, yung tumatansya ka. Pag hindi, substitute, okay na, rekta. So, tulad nito, pag sinubstitute ko yung 1 sa denominator, automatically, 1 over 2 siya. So meaning this is just 1 over 1 over 1 plus 1 rather, and this is just 1 over 2. So meaning the limit is just 1 half. Okay, so ganun siya kasimple. So again, para mapunta tayo sa pag meron tayong infinity minus infinity, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is manipulate algebraically, then saka siya magiging 0 over 0. Hindi ka pwede mag-apply ng L'Hopital's rule hanggat hindi siya 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Nasa sayo kung ano yung diskarte mong gamitin sa kanila. So next is about the indeterminate forms of type 1 raised to infinity, 0 raised to 0, and infinity raised to 0. Okay, so pinagsama ko na siya sa isang video o dito sa ating lesson 31 kasi may clear lang naman siya din dalawang example. Then napaka-rare ng ganito. So after neto, kaya na nating sagutin lahat ng klase ng limit. Yun lang isa sa masasabi sa inyo. Again, kaya na nating sagutin lahat ng klase ng limit. Kahit anong iba to sa'yo, kaya mo nang sagutin. Why? Andyan si squeeze theorem, nandyan yung mga trigonometric limits natin, nandyan yung mga from the left, from the right, nandyan yung mga sigma function, andyan yung mga napag-aralan na rin natin yung ating greatest integer. So, nandyan na rin yung ating indeterminate form and the same time L'Hopital's rule. So, I guess, alam na natin ang gagawin sa lahat. Okay, so kung ano man trip kong ilagay, kaya mo na yun. Okay, so let's have a definition. So let f be a non-constant function. The limit of f of x raised to g of x as x approaches a is an indeterminate form of type number 1. So again, f of x raised to g of x. So meaning function raised to a function. Okay, so that is 1 raised to infinity siya if yung limit daw ng f of x natin is 1 and yung g of x natin is positive infinity or negative infinity. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang basta 1 over infinity yan, bagkus andyan din si 1 over negative infinity. So, wag na wag kayo malilito ha. So, mamaya i-highlight ko lahat ng ating mga indeterminate form para hindi ka malito. Next is 0 raised to 0 siya if yung limit ng f of x as x approaches a is 0. True positive values and yung limit ng g of x as x approaches a is also 0. So, meaning 0 raised to 0 siya. So, indeterminate form of type siya. Next is infinity raised to 0 if yung limit ng f of x is positive infinity as x approaches a and limit ng g of x is 0. So, again, yung limit daw ng f of x is positive infinity and yung limit ng g of x is 0. Pag negative infinity, hindi natin pasok yun. So, saklaw. So, hindi ko sure kung makonsider natin ano siya indeterminate form as of now kasi wala siyang formal definition kung pasok siya dito. Right guys, so again, kunti doon muna tayo sa type na positive infinity. So don't worry, i-verify ko siya or I guess mapagdadaanan natin kung meron tayong example na ganun. Alright, so now let's move on dito. No? So remark, if the limit of f of x raised to g of x as x approaches a is an indeterminate of type 1 raised to infinity, 0 raised to 0, or infinity raised to 0, we write limit of f of x raised to g of x as x approaches a as ganito. So, ano nang gagawin mo guys? So, ito yung pinaka-technique na gagawin natin guys. Tingnan nyo mabuti. Ang gagawin lang niya is yung limit. So, yung f of x raised to g of x, ginawa niyang limit ng e raised to g of x ln of f of x as x approaches a. So, anong nangyari? So, papansinin mo guys ha, kung gagawin mo to, kung isa-solve mo kasi yung e raised to ln of x, kung isa-solve mo yung e raised to ln of x, that is x. So, meaning, kung isolve mo yung e raised to ln of f of x, that is simply f of x. Okay, which is tama. Okay, so tumabay lang siya. Kumbaga, ang ginawa lang nitong technique na to is, ang goal natin, yung denominator, yung ating exponent, itabi natin yung variable parehas para mapunta na tayo dun sa mga alam natin. So, ngayon, mangyayari. And, let us evaluate the limit of g of x times ln of f of x first. Then, so ngayon, ang gagawin mo, ang kukunin mo lang daw muna is evaluate mo lang yung limit sa taas. Wala ka munang paki dun sa e. Okay, so ngayon, ito yung mangyayari. If yung limit na nakuha mo sa g of x times ln of f of x is L. Anong ibig sabihin ng L? Number. So, for example, 0, negative 1 half, negative 2. Any number, hindi lang basta infinity. Hindi infinity, hindi negative infinity. Or hindi 0 from the right or 0 from the left. Ang gagawin natin, that is simply, ang magiging sagot lang natin is e raised to L. Or yung e raised to doon sa number. Kasi e raised to something yung ginawa eh. Now, if yung limit ng f of x and ln of x is positive infinity, ang sagot natin is positive infinity. Kasi magiging e raised to infinity siya. So again kung positive infinity, that is e raised to positive infinity. So e raised to infinity, that is infinity. Okay, ito yung galing sa e raised to infinity. So note, galing to sa e raised to infinity. Okay, next, if negative infinity, ito naman is just 0. So this is e raised to negative infinity, which is 1 over e raised to infinity, which is 0. Kaya siya nag-0. Yun yung dalawang klase na mangyayari dito. So again guys, ang goal natin is kung gusto mong mag-get rid dun sa ating function sa exponent, itabi natin mismo yung function dun sa exponent. Then solve natin. Then ganun pa rin yung scenario, dadalin natin sila sa 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. At wala tayong ibang gagawin kundi gamitin ng L'Hopital's rule kung magagamit natin. Okay, so let's have an example. So example number 1. So try ko, no, hindi kasi ako magaling sa dito. So example number 1, we have the limit of 0 from the right. We have the limit of x raised to sin x as x approaches 0 from the right. So obviously it is in the form of ganito. So hindi natin alam kung ano yung value. So check natin, no. Ano ba yung, so obviously this is, pag sinubstitute ko yung 0 right away sa x, that is obviously 0. Tapos sin 0 is just 0. So this is just indeterminate form of 0 raised to 0. So meaning, pasok tayo dito sa part na to. Okay, then it is not necessary na sa lahat ng oras guys is indeterminate siya. So for example, cosine x. Kunwari x raised to cosine x. Ano magiging sagot? 0 raised to 1. So 0 raised to 1, automatic 0. Tapos, ano kasimple? Wala na ibang gagawin. Okay, so again, hindi ko sinasabi na laging 0 raised to 0 siya, 1 raised to infinity, or infinity raised to 0 siya. Or may mga instances talaga na baka ang sagot is sagot na yun. Andun na as is. So sinisinok na naman ako. Okay, so let's use yung method niya. So anong gagawin? Pag ganyan daw yung form, gamitin natin to. So anong gagawin natin guys dito? So this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng e raised to sin x times x. Ln of x pala rather. Ln of x. Kasi yun yung rule eh. Okay? So, mangyari, kukunin daw natin yung limit nung sin x na yan. So, dito tayo pupunta. So, since hindi natin kailangan sagot yan, dito tayo pupunta. Kukunin natin yung limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng sin x times ln of x. Okay. Then, kagaya pa rin ng nakaraan, ano yung sin 0? Sin 0 is automatic 0. So, lagyan natin sila ng value para malaman natin anong klaseng indeterminate form. This is 0. Then, times sin ng ln ng 0 from the right. 0 from the right is 0.999 something, 0.9, 0.999, yung mga ganong value. I know, 0.001, yung mga ganong value. So, try natin. ln ng 0.001. So, try ko is dalawang 0 agad. Check natin ha. So, dagdagan ko ng another 0. So, nabasa mo lumalaki yung negative. Negative 23. So, I'm assuming no, dagdagan ko ng dagdagan yan. That's negative 4. So, assuming that is something negative infinity. So, therefore, this is negative infinity. So, meaning, this is an indeterminate form of type B, which is 0 times negative infinity. So, basically, anong gagawin natin next? Ang gagawin natin is gagawa tayo ng paraan para maging 0 over 0 siya or infinity over infinity. So, in this case, mahihirapan tayo kung gagawin natin is yung ln yung iilalim. So, kasi alam natin infinity to. So, kung gagawin natin siyang 1 over ln, mahihirapan na tayo pagdating sa differentiation. So, unlike sa sin, pag winan over sin natin siya, may identity siya na papunta. So, for example, that is cosine x. So, kaya ang gagawin natin naman yung form na kung saan siya ay negative infinity over infinity. Okay, so proceed tayo dito, no? So, this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng ln of x all over 1 over sin, kasi magiging 1 over sin siya. Yung 1 over sin na yun is cosecant x na. So, this is cosecant x. So, basically, this is just infinity This is negative infinity over positive infinity. Okay, kasi ilang beses na natin kinukuha yung value ng cosecant x na yun eh. Okay, next is, syempre, applying L'Hopital's rule. So, apply natin yung L'Hopital's rule. So, this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng derivative with respect sa x ng ln of x all over derivative with respect sa x ng cosecant of x. Okay, so this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng 1 over x then all over negative cosecant x cotangent x. No, so I guess try natin siya i-simplify further. So yung cosecant x is 1 over sine. Yung cotangent x is 1 over cotangent over sine. So basically this is negative cosine, no? So kung titingnan niyo, this is negative cosine over sine squared. Kung tama ako ng pagkakaintindi. So ang mangyayari, this is just equals a limit as x approaches 0 from the right. Okay, ng 1 over x. Tapos yung sinasabi ko dito, kasi ito ay 1 over sine, cosine over sine. So, magiging negative cosine over sine squared. So, magbabaliktad lang. So, this is just negative sine squared x over cosine x. Okay. So, next is, pansinin natin, ano naman gagawin natin dito. So, pag sinubstitute natin right away yung 0, so automatic sa taas is, pag sinubstitute ko yung 0 na yan, that is automatic sine 0 square, that is still 0. So, this is just 0. So, check natin yung limit. Then, this, 0, then 0. 0 tapos 1, that is still 0. So, this is indeterminate form of 0 over 0 pa rin. So, meaning, hindi pa rin natatapos yung ating dapat gawin. So, anong gagawin? Apply again another L'Hopital's rule. So, basically, this is just equal lang sa limit as x approaches 0 from the right. Derivative ng negative sine squared x is just negative 2, bababa yung 2, then sine x. Tapos derivative ng sine, cosine. Okay, so tama naman ang pagkakaderivative, chain rule ni sir. Then derivative ng cosine x, x cosine x sa ilalim. Derivative ng x cosine x kasi product rule yan. So this is just x times negative sine x kasi derivative ng cosine is negative. Then plus cosine x times 1. Okay, so simplify natin further to. So this is just limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng negative 2 sine x cosine x all over, unahin ko na yung cosine x minus x sine x. Okay, so in this case, I guess wala na magsi-0 sa ilalim kasi kung sa substitute ko right away yung 0, isa sa taas is 0 actually. So, isa sa taas is 0 kasi yung sine 0 is 0, cosine 0 is 1. This is cosine 0 is 1, x 0 times 0 is 1, 0 times 0 is 0. So, automatically, this is just negative 2, tapos sine 0 is 0, cosine 0 is 1. Okay, all over, cosine 0 is 1, minus 0 times 0, which is, this is just equal sa, basically, 0. Okay, so 0 siya. So, hindi pa tayo tapos, literal. So, ang mangyari, ang magiging final answer natin, literal is, para dyan pa lang yan, since 0 siya, this is just equal sa limit as x approaches 0 from the right ng e raised to sine x ln of x. This is just equal sa e raised to 0 which is equal sa 1. Therefore, ito yung sagot. Okay, ito lang yung parang scratch kung paano natin sinolve yung nasa taas. So, napakadali lang niya guys. Okay, so last example para dito. So, sorry na, konti na example ni sir. Ito lang ang kaya natin. Madami pa ako i-discuss. So, next is, we have the limit ng 1 minus, we have the limit of the quantity of 1 minus 3 over x raised to 2x as x approaches to positive infinity. So, basically, paano siya? No, so since positive infinity, no, 1 minus 3 over infinity, what is 3 over infinity? That is 0. or 3 times 0. So basically this is just 1 raised at 2 times infinity, that is still infinity. So this is just 1 raised to infinity. So this is an indeterminate form of 1 raised to infinity. So pasok tayo dyan. So basically ganun ulit gagawin natin, apply natin yung ating rule. So paano ulit yun? This is just equal sa gamit tayo ibang ballpen. Hirap magsulat. This is just the limit as x approaches positive infinity ng e raised sa 2x tapos ln of 1 minus 3 over x. Yan ang goal natin. So kukunin natin muna ang limit nito. So kukunin natin yung limit as x approaches infinity ng 2x times ln of 1 minus 3 over x. Okay, so let us check, no? So ano ba to? So check muna natin kung anong klaseng indeterminate siya bago tayo mag-substitute, bago tayo mag-L'Hopital's rule, no? So titignan ko, this is 2 times infinity, that is infinity. Automatically positive infinity. Multiplied by infinity, so that's 1 minus 3 over infinity. So basically this is 1. So ln of 1, this is 0. So this is just 0. So this is indeterminate form of positive infinity times 0. So alam ko na infinity to, ito ay 0. So ano goal natin? Siguro mas maganda dahil ln, itira natin pa rin yung ln, ilalim natin yung 2x. Yun siguro yung pinakamaganda natin gawin para maging 0 over 0 siya. Punta tayo sa 0 over 0 na form. So this is just equal sa limit as x approaches infinity ng ln ng 1 minus 3 over x all over 1 over 2x. So obviously this is just 0 over 0 na. Okay, then applying L'Hopital's rule. So apply ko na yung L'Hopital's rule kasi medyo mahaba na yung video, no? So apply ko yung L'Hopital's rule sa numerator, then denominator. Sa numerator, that is simply derivative lang niya, no? This is limit as x approaches infinity ng 1 over 1 minus 3x kasi derivative ng ln. Tapos derivative pa natin yung mismong loob. So derivative pa mismo niyan is negative 3 over x squared. Positive. So again, check mo mabuti kung paano ginawa ni sir, no? Dinerivative ko yung ln of 1 minus 3 over x. Umilalim yung 1 minus 3 over x. Derivative pa ng loob, which is 1 minus 3 over x. That is positive 3 over x squared. So bakit positive? Kasi negative times negative 3 over x squared is positive. So next is sa ilalim. Ang derivative naman ng ilalim is simply 1 over negative 1 over 2x squared. Sir, bakit negative 1 over 2x squared? Labas ko yung 1 half. O, labas ko yung 1 half, no? So, derivative ng 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. So, 1 half times negative 1 over x squared is negative 1 over 2x squared. Okay, then let us try to simplify further to, no? Check natin. Sagyan ko na ng parenthesis. So, no? So, pag sinimplify ni sir, ano ba magandang gawin para masimplify yan? Hirap, no? Hindi, madali lang yan. Kayang-kaya natin yan. So, this is just limit as x approaches infinity. So, lagay ko na to, ayusin ko na to. This is 1 over, so this is x minus 3 over x. Tas multiplied by 3 over x squared. Tas ito, reciprocate na natin yung ilalim. This is just negative 2x squared over 1. Okay, tas marireciprocate pa yung part na yon. Limit as x approaches infinity ng x over x minus 3 tapos 3 over x squared then negative 2x squared over 1. Okay, so obviously cancel yung isang value kung tama ako ng hinuwa. Okay, so tama naman ako, maka-cancel yung isa. So ang mangyayari, may matitira lang tayong limit, as x approaches infinity ng negative 6x over x minus 3. No? So again, hindi natin sa substitute. Pag may infinity, tapos parehas naman ng degree, x over x naman yan. So divide na natin both side by 1 over x lahat yan. So divide natin both side by 1 over x. So obviously, this is just equal lang sa limit as x approaches infinity ng negative 6 over 1 minus 3 over x. So basically, this is just simply negative 6. Kasi dinivide ko lahat sa 1 over x yung numerator then denominator. Each term ng numerator and denominator. So sir, bakit ka ulit nag-divide ng 1 over x? Kasi nga guys, infinity siya. So ganun yung ginagawa na sir. Next, since negative 6 siya, so therefore, ano magiging sagot dito? So therefore, ang magiging sagot lang natin dito, this is just equal sa e raised sa negative 6. So ito yung magiging sagot natin. Okay, or simply 1 over e raised to 6. Okay? So, ganun kadali. So, ganun lang kadali ang pagkuha ng mga limit na mga indeterminate form. So, again, paalala lang, tandaan mo yung mga indeterminate form na diniscuss natin. So, sana matandaan mo yan para at least may idea ka kung paano yung gagawin. So, that's all. Thank you for watching sa video na to. So, next topic is about gamma function.